Hey everyone, it's Jakov, and I'm here today with a new video for the channel. Today's video being a battle replay for The Last Alliance Total War. If you're new here, The Last Alliance Total War is a mod for Total War Shogun 2 that overhauls the game and sets it in the second age of Middle-earth. Today's replay was sent in by Ellan Enish, so we have to say thanks again man for sending it in. I really appreciate it, and it's a clash between an army of Mordor, played by Ellan Enish, against the army of the Kingdom of Numenor, played by Peter Haver. If you guys want to send in any battle replays for me to cover, feel free to send them to me either via my email, which is going to be linked in the video description, or send it to me via Discord, be it the Dawnless Days Discord server, the Last Alliance Total War Discord server, or of course the A Song of Ice and Fire War for Westeros Fire and Ice server. Any of those will do. With all that said, I'm going to put the battle into slow motion and we'll start by checking out both armies and then letting them clash. Okay then, zooming in, well, bad lag there. Zooming in on the Mordor Army, we've got the Orc Warband in the front lines. A couple of units of these guys, very elite soldiers, well, fairly elite. Then we've got the Orc Pikemen of the Morannon, which is a new unit that was added to the mod most recently. Then over here on the far flanks, we've got the Warg Riders of Lithlad, a unit that was added a while ago, but which is a bit more elite than the regular Warg Riders. So we've got a couple of units of these guys. Then behind the front lines, we've got archers, so Orc Maggot archers, so their lowest ranking archer unit. Then do they have anything stronger? It was just the maggots for the most part. Maggots for the most part. More regular Warg Riders over on this flank, who are equipped a bit differently. And then at the rear of the Mordor army, we have Black Numenorian warriors, so loyalists serving Sauron. A couple of units of them, so very elite archers who can also double as infantry. And then we've got the Orc bodyguard, which is just regular orcs. Then putting the speed to normal, we'll turn to the Numenorian army over here. And in their front lines, they've got Numenorian archers marching, a couple of units of those guys. Then your standard Numenorian swordsmen and spearmen, the ones who don't have plate armor, some of them moving to the trees over there. They're all archers, come steel bowmen, so they're elite archers. And then, yeah, more spearmen, more swordsmen, more swordsmen. Numenorian swordmasters, they're shock infantry, and some pikemen. And then back here we've got more pikemen, and where is their general unit? Armoured swordsmen, so some of the swordsmen who wear plate armour. And now we've got the cavalry swinging around the sides. Archers are opening fire as the enemy advance. This is smart by the orcs positioning their forces around the flank ready to charge in. Yeah, for some reason my mouse seems really sensitive. Some of the Orc Warband dropped. So yeah, overall over here we've got the cavalry making a move, it seems. Double envelopment of sorts. Now the Numenorian army has better archers but lacks cavalry, and the Orc one has mounted forces. It's a bit of a balanced battle in that way. Cavalry is just, well, cavalry in quotation marks is swinging around the side, the Mordorian forces. I'd be very careful. Okay, and their generals in the middle, Isildur and the Ithilgard. Archers are doing their job though, they are doing damage. But the Mordor forces are doing it right back as well, given they've got their elite Black Numenorian archers who are more than a match. Ooh, nasty, there comes the fire, thinning out the unit a bit. And they're going in for a charge straight into their rear. Pikemen are standing back, and the pikemen able to catch them off. The swordmasters they hit hard though, and their shock infantry, they're good on the offensive against the cavalry, but not when caught out. Over here the swordsmen took pretty bad casualties, and the cavalry is just retreating away. And here we've got just a big cluster of a battle between pikemen and Warg Riders. This is smart. Now they can double envelop and smash right into them, because they've had to pull forces back. And now Isildur himself is on the front line with his men, and orcs are smashing to their front lines. That was... I'll give my hat to them. That was a great move. And now their forces are kind of out of position. Archers are here. I'd pull them back. No point having them stuck on the front line. The Orc Berserkers of Lithlad come charging in. You know, I didn't think I saw before. They smash into them. Cavalry's pulled back. How are they going for casualties? Pretty good, all things considered. And they're going in for a second attack. And yeah, they've done significant damage to the Numenorian lines. They now have to fight on two different flanks. The Swordmaster's going to get hit. Well, I mean, they're getting hit by archer fire. They're going to get behind the pikes before they get run over. It's going to be close. And the pike formation goes, well, flying is one word to describe it. And then over here we have Isildur and his men just duking it out. Don't know where Isildur himself is, but nah, we'll leave him. And all along the lines, just battle, really. That's the only way I can describe it. The Orc pikemen breaching on the lines and setting up their own formation there. Just in general, the Orcs are doing well. I'd wait that the Orcs will probably win this, but you never know. The Numenorian archers being caught out. Like, I would turn these guys around and start shooting at the Orcs, mounted on their walks. There's no reason to have them stuck in the middle of melee. They are breaking some of the units though, which is good. Isildur and his men advance to smash into the Orc bodyguard, I'm assuming, which is smart. If they can take these guys out, they'll win the battle. Well, they'll have a better chance of winning the battle. The Wargs, however, have called out a unit of archers and of steelbowmen. That's a great unit, and that's a horrible unit to lose like that. Pikemen are advancing. I thought they were almost caught out of formation for a second. But yeah, by taking up position to fight the Wargs, opening up their backs to straight fire from the Orc archers. And even though they're weak archers, that many of them shooting into your back, yeah, you're bound to have trouble. Over there we see a unit about to collapse. The spearmen, I think. Yeah, with them gone, pikemen are going to have a really bad time. The Numenorian spearmen over here, though, that's actually pretty smart. They're defending archers, allowing one battery to just continue opening fire, thinning out the Orc war gliders. Pikemen are advancing, although where? If I was them, I'd withdraw their force into a box if possible. Spearmen here are being sandwiched between the war gliders and the berserkers, and yep, they're gone. The Numenorian pikemen and their swordsmen, or spearmen, fighting bravely against the Orc pikemen and the wargs, but these wargs are actually phenomenal units. They give Mordor so much firepower. Pikemen are advancing here, which is kind of a terrifying sight if you're a mounted warg, but it's not that terrifying when they run back over this way. They take up formation and they catch the charge. But their formation is mostly broken. Especially if they get wrapped around by these Orc war gliders, they're done. Over here we've got the general v general battle going. The Numenorians, the black Numenorians being drawn into the fight. And given they are really good infantry as well as archers, I reckon the balance of power is probably in their favour compared to Isildur. Even though he has the armoured swordsman fighting alongside him, so he's got shock infantry helping him out. But yeah, if they kill the Orc bodyguards, they might cause a chain rout, but conversely it might be the other way around. Spearmen have engaged the maggot archers, and they seem to be doing well against them, but the black Numenorian warriors are there. Were more than a match for their faithful counterparts. I like the way that dude just keeps dodging his head away from weapons. Or just letting weapons bounce off of his helmet. Now, watching this brawl take place, I want you guys to tell me what you think the backstory is about how this army of Isildur got caught out and engaged the army of Mordor. I'm thinking this is in the early days of the settlement of Gondor. Potentially that force of the faithful got caught out by the orcs, and it's kind of went to hell from there. But yeah, you guys let me know what you think. And somehow this reserve back here is still fighting on. You're going to have a mutual destruction of a unit here, but the Black Numenorians are going to be sticking in. And now Isildur and his unit are about to break, they're completely surrounded. And the men drop where they stand. Unit's gone. And with that, it is a close victory for Mordor. I wouldn't even really call it a close victory. I'd say they had the advantage from the beginning. But anyway, we're going to end the battle and see how both armies did. Overall, I actually kind of like that battle. It's nice, sharp, short, and pretty dynamic, all things considered. And you kind of see how lacking cavalry can be a massive disadvantage, especially if you don't have a numerical advantage over your mounted foes. But yeah, be interesting to see if any new units get added in the next updates for this mod. So, looking at the armies, both armies were about evenly matched in terms of numbers. Ellan Enish's force, of course, of Mordor inflicted way more casualties on the Numenorian forces than they suffered, but we'll check out the unit statistics. Looking at the Orc bodyguards, they did pretty good. Like, they broke even. The Black Numenorian warriors in both cases did amazing, barely suffering casualties while wiping out large amounts of enemies. Orc maggot archers, not bad for such a weak unit, getting these kills. The only one that really suffered was this unit, but they got engaged in melee, so fair enough. Yeah, the Orc maggots archers did great, which kind of goes to show if you can keep your archers safe, even the weakest archers can still do a fair bit of damage. The Warg Riders of Lithlad, they all did pretty good, getting way more kills than they suffered. The Warg Riders, the basic ones, they didn't do quite as well, but in general, still fairly good, and it was more their impact on the battlefield rather than how many kills they got that made them so useful. Then the Orc Pikemen of the Morannon, for a unique unit, they did great too, punching a hole right through the Numenorian lines. And then you have the Orc Warband, and they suffered significantly more casualties in most places than they dealt out. The Orc Berserkers of Lithlad, though, they did amazing. They tore apart the Numenorians. So yeah, overall, Orc Army did really well. Then turning to the Numenorian Army, Isildur's men did actually pretty well, his bodyguard at least. The Numenorian Swordmasters, they did very poorly, which seems to be a trend actually, that this unit's not that great on the battlefield. The Armoured Swordsmen, they did pretty poorly as well. The Steelbowmen, they would have done better, but they got caught out by the Warg Riders and were destroyed. Pikemen generally did pretty poorly, although again the units they were facing off against were the Warg Riders, so they weren't facing off the main mass of the enemy infantry. And then the Numenorian Swordsmen, which made up the bulk of the army, they did pretty poorly, all things considered. Same thing as the Spearmen. Well, this unit did alright, but apart from that, the Numenorian army in general was really lackluster. The archers, they did horrifically too, except for this one down here. So yeah, all in all, not a great outcome for the Numenorian army. I think they might need to be buffed in the future to give them a bit more firepower. Just as it seems, they don't do very well, which I know before the more recent updates it was the other way around. The Orc armies were completely underpowered, but now it feels like it's the other way around. The armies of men are way underpowered. But yeah, guys, if you've enjoyed this video, please give us a like and a subscribe. I know it may not seem like much to you guys, but it's just a small channel. It really does mean the world. Rest assured, similar videos both on this mod and many others will be coming up in the near future. So with all that said, this is your host, Jakov, signing out.